Introductory to the Life of Hon. William F. Cody, known as Buffalo Bill, the famous hunter, scout, and guide. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit Librivox.org. Recording by Barry Eads. The Life of Hon. William F. Cody by William F. Cody. Introductory. The life and adventures of Hon. William F. Cody, Buffalo Bill, as told by himself, make up a narrative which reads more like romance than reality, and which in many respects will prove a valuable contribution to the records of our western frontier history. While no literary excellence is claimed for the narrative, it has the greater merit of being truthful, and is verified in such a manner that no one can doubt its veracity. The frequent reference to such military men as General Sheridan, Carr, Merritt, Crook, Terry, Colonel Royal, and other officers under whom Mr. Cody served as scout and guide at different times and in various sections of the frontier during the numerous Indian campaigns of the last 10 or 12 years affords ample proof of his genuineness as a thoroughbred scout. There is no humbug or braggadocio about Buffalo Bill. He is known far and wide, and his reputation has been earned honestly and by hard work. By a combination of circumstances, he was educated to the life of a plainsman from his youth up. And not the least interesting portion of his career is that of his early life, passed as it was in Kansas during the eventful and troublous times connected with the settlement of that state. Spending much time in the saddle, while a mere boy he crossed the plains many times in company with bull trains. On some of these trips he met with thrilling adventures and had several hairbreadth escapes from death at the hands of Indians. Then for a while he was dashing over the plains as a pony express rider. Soon afterwards, mounted on the high seat of an overland stagecoach, he was driving a 6-in-hand team. We next hear of him cracking the bullwhacker's whip, and commanding a wagon train through a wild and dangerous country to the far west. During the Civil War he enlisted as a private, and became a scout with the Union Army. Since the war he has been employed as hunter, trapper, guide, scout, and actor. As a buffalo hunter he has no superior. As a trailer of Indians he has no equal. For many years he has taken an active part in all the principal Indian campaigns on the western frontier, and as a scout and guide he has rendered inestimable services to the various expeditions which he accompanied. During his life on the plains he not only had many exciting adventures himself, but he became associated with many of the other noted plainsmen, and in his narrative he frequently refers to them, and relates many interesting incidents and thrilling events connected with them. He has had a fertile field from which to produce this volume, and has frequently found it necessary to condense the facts in order to embody the most interesting events of his life. The following from a letter written by General E.A. Carr of the 5th Cavalry, now commanding Fort McPherson, speaks for itself. I first met Mr. Cody October 22, 1868, at Buffalo Station, on the Kansas Pacific Railroad in Kansas. He was scout and guide for the 7 companies of the 5th Cavalry, then under Colonel Royal, and of which I was ordered to take the command. From his services with my command, steadily in the field for 9 months, from October, 1868, to July, 1869, and at subsequent times, I am qualified to bear testimony to his qualities and character. He was very modest and unassuming. I did not know for a long time how good a title he had to the appellation Buffalo Bill. I am apt to discount the claims of scouts, as they will occasionally exaggerate, and when I found one who said nothing about himself, I did not think much of him, till I had proved him. He is a natural gentleman in his manners as well as in character, and has none of the roughness of the typical frontiersman. He can take his own part when required, but I have never heard of his using a knife or a pistol, or engaging in a quarrel where it could be avoided. His personal strength and activity are such that he can hardly meet a man whom he cannot handle, and his temper and disposition are so good that no one has reason to quarrel with him. His eyesight is better than a good field glass. He is the best trailer I ever heard of, and also the best judge of the lay of country. That is, he is able to tell what kind of country is ahead, so as to know how to act. He is a perfect judge of distance, and always ready to tell correctly how many miles it is to water, or to any place, or how many miles have been marched. Mr. Cody seemed never to tire, and was always ready to go, in the darkest night or the worst weather, and usually volunteered, knowing what the emergency required. His trailing when following Indians or looking for stray animals or game is simply wonderful. He is a most extraordinary hunter. I could not believe that a man could be certain to shoot antelope running till I had seen him do it so often. In a fight, Mr. Cody is never noisy, obstreperous, or excited. In fact, I never hardly noticed him in a fight, unless I happened to want him, or he had something to report, when he was always in the right place, and his information was always valuable and reliable. During the winter of 1868, we encountered hardships and exposure in terrific snow storms, sleet, etc., etc. On one occasion, that winter, Mr. Cody showed his quality by quietly offering to go with some dispatches to General Sheridan, across a dangerous region, where another principal scout was reluctant to risk himself. On the 13th of May, 1869, he was in the fight at Elephant Rock, Kansas, and trailed the Indians till the 16th, when we got another fight out of them on Spring Creek, in Nebraska, and scattered them after following them 150 miles in 3 days. It was at Spring Creek, where Cody was ahead of the command about 3 miles, with the advance guard of 40 men, when 200 Indians suddenly surrounded them. Our men dismounted and formed in a circle, holding their horses, firing and slowly retreating. They all to this day speak of Cody's coolness and bravery. This was the Dog Soldier Band, which captured Mrs. Alderdice and Mrs. Weichel in Kansas. They strangled Mrs. Alderdice's baby, killed Mrs. Weichel's husband, and took a great deal of property and stock from different persons. We got on their trail again, June 28th, and followed it nearly 200 miles, till we struck the Indians on Sunday, July 11th, 1869, at Summit Spring. The Indians, as soon as they saw us coming, killed Mrs. Alderdice with a hatchet, and shot Mrs. Weichel, but fortunately not fatally, and she was saved. Mr. Cody has since served with me as post guide and scout at Fort McPherson, where he frequently distinguished himself. In the summer of 1876, Cody went with me to the Black Hills region, where he killed Yellow Hand. Afterwards he was with the Bighorn and Yellowstone expedition. I consider that his services to the country and the army by trailing, finding, and fighting Indians, and thus protecting the frontier settlers, and by guiding commands over the best and most practicable routes, have been far beyond the compensation he has received. His friends of the 5th Cavalry are all glad that he is in a lucrative business, and hope that he may live long and prosper. Personally, I feel under obligations to him for assistance in my campaigns which no other man could, or would, have rendered. Of course I wish him and his every success. E. A. Carr, Lieutenant Colonel, 5th Cavalry, Brevet Major General U.S. Army, Fort McPherson, Nebraska, July 3rd, 1878. Buffalo Bill is now an actor, and is meeting with success. He owns a large and valuable farm adjoining the town of North Platte, Nebraska, and there his family live in ease and comfort. He has also an extensive cattle ranch on the Dismal River, 65 miles north of North Platte, his partner being Major Frank North, the old commander of the celebrated Pawnee Scouts. While many events of his career are known to the public, yet the reader will find in this narrative much that will be entirely new, and intensely interesting to both young and old. The Publisher. End of introduction.